after a series of unexpected, slightly harrowing discoveries about some of our characters' pasts and the people in them, including Anima poking at something in her brain that she probably shouldn't have poked at, because now it knows that she remembers. And that'll be fine. Spectre realizes she's got most of her crew, needs a bit of a break before they kind of lose it, so she decided to take you all to a space station wildlife preserve. It's basically a zoo. You all need something like nice and lighthearted, and anything anyone wants to do before they get there, or how is everyone doing? I will say there's been enough times to Anima you have rested to recover that 24 points of psychic damage you got when you thought about talking about the thing. Doing anything to like prepare to go to the zoo, or remember there was talk about the fact that Stavios doesn't know what a duck is?
I think Vi may be... Okay, are there multiple species of ducks? Are we gonna have to explain multiple species of ducks here?
Well, are there ducks at the zoo?
I mean... Vi just looks at Spectra. Isn't that one of the reasons we're going?
They have all sorts of creatures there, and I'm sure they've got some ducks. There's at least one keeper there who has adopted one, I know for a fact.
Oh, okay.
They might have adopted more since then, but they've got an interesting variety. It's always fun to go visit. Especially to go see the lemurs. They're so adorable. Always up to something.
So about how big is the park? Or the zoo?
It is around approximately the same size as a standard station, maybe a little smaller. They refurbished it and retrofitted a lot of it to be able to safely house and comfortably house the creatures. Of course, there are several areas that are not open to the public because it's for like the care of the creatures, or some creatures that don't do as well with that kind of interaction. But there is a rather large area that is open to people. They're usually not too busy around this time of year, but there might be some other people around.
Is it primarily land creatures? Is there like an aviary? Or sort of aquarium as well? Or is it mainly primarily land?
They do have an aquarium, they do have an aviary. The number of creatures sometimes will vary, because sometimes they're able to rehabilitate and then rehome some of the creatures. They offer their space to help house creatures from other organizations while they're going through any sort of changes they may be going through, like if they're having to rebuild an enclosure for some reason.
Okay.
They work with quite a few organizations. And as Spectre's talking, you can actually see the station. There's a couple of ships flying in and out. Doesn't look particularly busy, especially for Stavios. You would notice you've probably been to more things like this than the other two have. It does look like they're open, just doesn't necessarily look like this is their busy period. But if you want to roll like perception or anything as you're checking it out, if anyone wants to roll.
I'll roll.
I like a good perception roll. If it behaves.
I got a 19.
Yay! I got a 24!
Okay. Stavia, something you notice is there seem to be more people heading away than going into the station. I'll also add that, like Spectre has explained, they do have some housing options for people who are traveling a long distance, or like if they need to stay for a while, they do offer those options. Stavius, you know, looks like more people are leaving than are entering. And for Vi, with your 24, you spot there's one ship that just, it looks like it's like a repair crew. And you see it looks like there's, I guess the best thing I can say is like animal control. It looks like most of the ships that are coming in are geared towards like dealing with animals, whether they're bringing new creatures in or not. You can't really tell, but you also clocked that it looks like a lot of the personal vehicles are leaving instead of going in.
I think Vi will mental missive Spectra because she doesn't want to sort of alert or disappoint everyone else who's in the room. Just be like, Spectra, have you contacted the person you know there recently? Yeah, I see a repair ship, and it looks like all of the personal transports are leaving, but there's more like animal ones. Like, are they temporarily closed, or what's something going on?
I reached out to my friend, she's one of the owners, when we decided to come to let them know that we were going to be coming, and she said everything was alright, and I sent another message not too long ago, and I mean, she said that we are still good to come in and visit.
Okay.
It did kind of sound like there's something going on that they're trying to deal with, but we are still welcome to come and stop by. She guides the ship into the docking bay, and you don't have to roll to notice. You probably might be the first person to notice this weird thing. It looks like there's one of those like snack cart things embedded into a ship.
I don't think that what's happening here is routine. And that's just an observation.
No, I would say not. I'm also deeply concerned that someone was traveling in a ship that's that easily damaged.
Yeah, that's...
Those carts don't go that fast.
Not normally, at least.
I'm going to go out on a limb, Spectra. I'm going to say I think the cart... By what? I don't know. I think we'll definitely find out.
I'm certain we will. And she's probably going to want my help with it. Otherwise, I would have been told to go away.
That would be a lot of help.
I mean, that would be an interesting new way to test spacecraft, though.
Let's not, actually.
I mean, I didn't say I would personally do it.
Ship lands, you see this person in one of the keeper uniforms. You see there are a couple of people bustling about that are in what you would assume to be the preserver of the zoo's like uniform for dealing with both for the zookeepers and the people who deal with customers and with crowd control and all that fun stuff. They're bustling about. You've got one of the repair crews trying to figure out how to get this cart out of the ship. And there are still some civilians milling about, and they have like at least one staff member. Each group has at least one staff member with them. But the person coming up to you is Kesh, and as Spectre disembarks, the woman comes up and just, "Thank you so much for coming. I'm sorry that this is a bit of a hectic time, but it is really good to see you, Spectre." And they exchange a hug, and it's good to see you too. So, what's going on here? Well, you remember those lemurs we got in about a year or so ago? Yeah, they escaped. And they let some of the other creatures out. We've got some of that contained, but there's been kind of a bit of a cascade effect if we're trying to get the others wrangled. And apparently they stole a spaceship, and from what I can tell, they're still flying it. I don't know if anyone's been able to track it. But yeah, we've got a couple of escaped creatures. We've got most of them sort of roped off so they can't get to most of the civilians, but it's been a little hectic in the past couple of days. But as I said, you're all welcome to come. You can look around at the creatures we still have contained. If you're feeling adventurous, it would be appreciated if you could help try and wrangle some of the escapees. That is entirely up to you. We'll get everything back to normal within a couple of days, I'm sure. Looks just a bit stressed out.
Honestly, Vi likes those lemurs. She's like, yes.
So this isn't just gonna be a fun jaunt to the zoo. I kind of look at Spectra and I'm just like, are we gonna do something about all this?
It's entirely up to you. I mean, I will most likely be lending a hand with some other angling, but we're doing whatever we want to do.
I feel like we kind of have to. I feel like, I don't know, you can't just show up to a zoo besieged by animals and then not do something.
You say this, you see this creature that looks like a bright blue flamingo just walking on the ceiling.
Is it supposed to do that?
Zookeeper, who, she has a little tag that just says her name is Nora. She just looks up. Yeah, they're able to do that, no problem. That's normal.
Okay.
They're not normally out, but that is a normal thing that they can do.
Yeah, that was gonna be my follow-up question. Was it supposed to be doing that in here?
No, we do keep them in one of the taller enclosures, so they are able to do that. But the lemurs, it appears from what we've been able to piece together, managed to let both those and the bears out. We got most of the bears contained. I think the baby might still be running through some of the vents.
Vent bear?
Someone's on that.
Bear.
Baby vent bear.
And the mama isn't killing anyone?
The parents are both contained, and I haven't had an update recently on how the baby bear situation is going, but it's fine. It's in good health. It's safe. It's just proving surprisingly difficult to track down. I'm not as worried about that one as I am the phase beasts, but we've at least been able to put up shielding so they can't teleport anywhere in the zoo, but they can still teleport through a good, quarter of the facility that we have shielded.
Speaking of phase beasts,
Didn't I deal with those previously? With a bit more, she sort of glances at Nor forcefully.
oh, y'all can't see. Bo just broke in.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah, no, you were dealing with void creatures. Phase beast
Okay,
is
thank
different.
you. I was like, weren't those on the ship that we had?
Oh, he's a
One.
big Yanums.
But, okay, good.
Yanum.
I don't have to worry about feeling bad then.
I would like to reiterate, looking around, you can tell this is a pretty nice facility. They've got good security. They've got just in what enclosures you can see, it looks like the creatures are happy. They take good care. They just had a lot of chaos in a short period of time and are still trying to get everything back under control. If you would like to roll anything to get a vibe check of some sort for the situation.
Yeah.
Can I do an insight check? I don't know. It just seems pretty funky that such a well done, a well made facility had a spontaneous outbreak. Had all these enclosures, the enclosure of these of this very specifically dangerous animal got unlocked, and then all this cascading effects. It just seems pretty weird. So I kind of want to just look around and see if there's maybe people, if anybody just seems particularly guilty looking.
Give me the roll. As you vibe check anyone who you feel might be slightly responsible.
21.
Looking at some of the different keepers and workers that are passing by, there are some people who might look a little guilty or they feel responsible for what happened, but it's less of an intentional thing and more of a feeling of maybe I should have taken extra precautions. I should have been more careful. See a couple of people where it looks like they got something very irritating in their eyes.
Ooh.
Looks like they're still trying to heal from whatever got in their eyes or in their face. Those two mostly look just, like, upset about that. But you don't get the feeling so much as, like, this was negligence as much as, like, this was just, like, a really specifically weird set of circumstances. This wasn't someone messed up. There are some people who might think that they messed up to something. Or, like, they should have done something better. Any other roles people want to do?
I would like to roll. I'm trying to figure out what, though.
Anything that Anima wants to do?
Not currently.
Vibe check security to see what you're working with?
Sure.
Like, I'll say either perception or investigation.
There you go. Oh, natural
Ooh,
20.
26. Nice. As you are looking around, taking in just the whole entirety of the situation, I'll say that Nora is also, like, you're walking around following her as she's talking through some of the things that happened with Spectra. You get the feeling, because she knows Spectra is going to help. There's no expectation for the rest of you, but it is welcome if you wish. And there will be a reward if you choose to. No hard feelings if you don't, though. But she's talking through the order of events from when the lemurs got out, and then they were running around, and then they somehow managed to, like, lockpick and, like, unlock 2 of the cages, and then they managed to steal a cart and drive it away and then get into a ship. You definitely catch the fact that one of the lemurs was significantly smarter than you would expect from a lemur. There's one that was just the cutest little thing ever and dumb as a box of rocks because someone decided to play a himbo. It's less that they messed up and more of they were not quite prepared for how smart one of those lemurs was, at least. Anima, you spot where they have been able to cordon off certain areas. You can see where some of the creatures look a little agitated, like their normal life was upset a little bit by what's going on, but they all look fine. It's a pretty big area. There's maybe 2 or 3 places that seem to be blocked off for specifically because something is loose. Maybe 2 or 3 others where it's because the animals need some quiet after everything that's been going on. They're taking a bit longer to calm down because there were bears running around. And you also spot 3 or 4 more of those blue flamingos walking around on the ceiling. But those seem to be less of a problem because there is someone in the back who is slowly luring them down one at a time with treats whenever one gets close enough. And they just walk along the ceiling and start walking down the wall and get to the floor. They get their treats. The keeper just puts a little loop around them and just kind of leads them back into their enclosure. You do also catch signs of a couple of other creatures that are attempting to avoid going back into their enclosures. There's a couple small little fluffy guys. You catch sight of what you believe to be the phase beast because it just vanishes and reappears somewhere else. As well as some bigger creatures that are blocked off, and it's pretty heavily shielded area. There aren't as many people attempting to wrangle those as much as they're just slowly shrinking down the blocked off spot until they get back into their enclosure, including this pretty big guy that's kind of spiky looking with a little blue at the end of the spikes. They have it under control mostly. Probably wouldn't mind help because it could take a while to get some of these back in. But the security was pretty on top of it, considering it feels like this happened very out of the blue and a lot of things happened wrong very quickly. And you also do see the empty enclosure where the lemurs used to be.
Would we have to be concerned about any of the escaped creatures preying on either other escaped creatures or us, or is it more just they just need to be put back in their places?
We have done our best to cordon off where each of the creatures are. And we have people keeping an eye. Some we do have to be wary because they might attempt to prey on some of these smaller creatures, and these smaller creatures do prove difficult to keep corralled, as you see something small and furry just like dart across the path in front of you, and then there's a keeper like sprinting after them immediately after.
I was gonna say, could I use like cunning action or something
inefficient.
to try to help with pick that little one up?
Yes, give me a dexterity check.
Just dex. Come on. Aw, 9.
Well, it got a 5.
Oh.
So you deftly catch this. It's basically like a little tan, brown little
Aw.
weasel. Very fluffy, and then it keeps like, okay, good. That is one Gilby Jack down. We just have one more to go. And that is a 24 as the Gilby Jack bites you.
Okay. Oh, I can use reaction. What is it? Uncanny dodge. Yes.
Uncanny dodge?
that.
Cool, so you only get 3 points of piercing damage instead of the 6.
I ask, do these things like to eat anything specific?
Yeah, we have food. Several of them are on special diets, either related to specific medical needs or just what's best for their species in general.
The one that's currently still bopping around, what does it like to eat specifically?
She lists off the general diet of the other Gilby Jack, which is still running around somewhere.
So I'm going to use Illusory Point, and I'm going to, just a little bit of the distance, sort of where I see a lot of movement, create an illusion of this, of like a really delicious version of whatever he just listed to me. Just like in a nice pile. And I said, Vi, be ready.
Yeah. And Vi carefully and quickly hands the one she has to the keeper. It's like, okay, put you there.
Yeah, the keeper helps disengage where it has bitten you, because I just imagine when like hung and then just didn't let go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the keeper just like hands you a little bandage so you're
Thank
able
you.
to and disinfect
you.
it.
Okay. So yeah.
What is it called? The Gilby
Gilby Jack.
The Gilby Jack has to make a DC 16 int saving throw.
Okay. That's a 14. Their intelligence is -3, but it rolled really high, but it still failed.
Not enough.
So there's a couple minutes where like nothing happens as why you're getting that bite like disinfected and wrapped up so you're not bleeding everywhere. Maybe like putting some gloves on your hands so you don't get bit again.
Yeah. Please.
And you're wondering if it's gonna work when suddenly you see another small furry thing just like jump out, and it like attempts to like when you see a dog jumping into a big pile of leaves.
Yeah.
That directly into the illusion, and then it's just like scrambling around. Popped out of absolute nowhere, but give me the roll as you attempt to nab.
Dex, please be nice. Please. Okay, that's a 16. Much better.
Excellent. It rolled a 7 as you very quickly grab it, and it is unable to bite you as much as it tries to bite you, but it like gets like it's like nomming on your glove.
Okay. She's like, okay, bud, you go back to your friend.
Yeah, it's just like
It's okay. I promise you'll be fed at some point.
It's just continuing to grumble as the keeper takes it. They both like settle down as the keeper's holding them. You get to feel like this is someone who's worked with them a lot. And just, thanks for that. They're sneaky little ow. As the second one just decides to nom. Okay, I get it. You're hungry. Okay, I'm gonna take them back to their ow. Which the keeper does have gloves on, but you can see like the teeth like have dented into the gloves. It might not have broke skin, but still, ow.
Vi's not taking her gloves. The gloves she got off. She's like, I don't want to get bitten again.
Just like, yeah, no thanks, because that hurt. I mean, you'll be fine, but that didn't feel great. Could potentially scar.
Wait, scar Vi?
Like,
With
leave
the
a
3
scar.
damage, or?
I got a scar that lasted for 3 years from scraping my arm on a recycling bin lid, and it didn't even bleed. There's not always a logic behind why scars get left behind from things, so you might have, like, a little, like, I picture, like, it bed onto your finger, so you'll have, like, a little line scar on your finger.
Okay. So, I have a feeling that the rest of the creatures aren't as cute and fluffy, are they?
As a note, half of the creatures that escaped are creatures from Espergenesis. The rest are from Underground Oracle. Because they have some fun ones. I'm pretty sure Gilby Jack is Underground Oracle. As you say this, you hear a dull thud. And you look over, and you remember when you helped the Volna?
Yes, with their big... Yeah.
Helped them tame that creature?
Mm-hmm.
You see 2 that look similar to that. There are keepers with these, it's essentially kind of like riot shield like setups that one of the creatures just rammed into, attempting to just gradually herd them back. And Nora looks over. Thankfully, the Argyle have very sturdy skulls, and I believe we've got them under control. Not sure how the Bornak are doing, or the Phase Beast, mostly because they can teleport. You have already been incredibly helpful, though, because I wasn't sure how long it was going to take to catch those 2 little suckers.
How do you catch something that can teleport?
Very carefully. We currently have the area they're in blocked off with specific shielding that interferes with their ability to teleport outside of the shielded area. And we've been slowly, like, decreasing the amount of area, attempting to herd them back into their enclosure. Unfortunately, by the time we got all of that set up, they had spread out pretty far. It'll take a bit. It's going well, and we've been dropping food, been able to get food into their enclosure, so that is helping some, but it's proving interesting.
Are the Phase Beast predators?
Yeah. You see, actually, I'll say, roll a perception check.
Sure. Yeah, roll perception. Come on, please. Yes! Nat 20! 28!
As she's talking, as you ask this, you're looking over to the area that she's been indicating, which you can see some of the shielding. And for a split second, you see it's almost like this wolf-like creature, except for you're not sure if it's really covered in fur. The fur appears to be blue and spiky, and as it appears just inside of the shielding, it crouches down next to the wall, and it's like the color of its fur shifts, and you realize it's not fur, it's scales, as it shifts the color to blend in with the wall that it's crouching beside.
Oh, I see your problem. I guess try not to look directly at it once she realizes it, because she doesn't want it to know that she knows it's there. So just sort of looking vaguely in its in like the vague direction, but she has like peripherals on it.
Roll me stealth.
Okay.
As you are attempting to side-eye the Phase Beast.
Come on. Stealth is my best. Yes! Another that 20. 29.
Oh, your dice. It does not notice.
I bet you wish our resident squirrel catcher was here.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the squirrel creatures already.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, but last time she caught a squirrel, she didn't get bit.
Yeah.
And then she set it loose.
When did she catch a squirrel? I don't think I heard this story.
Oh,
You didn't hear the squirrel story?
it was when we were dealing with, what's his name? Not Sinfrith. The other one. Scorpia helped us. Voldemar!
Yes, it just nods.
That was his name, Voldemar.
I look at the people that we've been talking to, and I'm like, if I could get the Phase Beast to be still for a minute, would that be enough time for y'all to wrangle it?
I believe so, yes, as long as someone is ready on standby. We do have some medicines that will temporarily limit or inhibit their ability to teleport. We kind of have to do that because they don't like taking their medicine. So we have to make it so they can't teleport out of the vet bay. Yeah, if you're able to do that, that would be very helpful.
Because I have command, and I can use it on any creature within range as long as it doesn't succeed in a wisdom saving throw. And it lasts for 1 round.
You are more than welcome to give that a shot. I will say Vi helps you.
Yeah.
Just very quietly points towards where it is.
Yeah, Vi, I think with like mental missive. Okay, I see one. Don't freak it out. It is currently stealthy. It can change colors.
I'll say you're able to get close enough to get just in range, and with Vi's help, you know roughly where it is. Actually, would you like to roll a perception check to see if you can spot it?
7.
You can't spot it, but I'm sure you trust Vi that there really is something there.
Well, then we need to make it needs to become visible. Otherwise, I can't do it. I pick up a rock and I look over at Vi, and I'm just kind of like, in the sense of like, where should I throw it? I don't want to hit it. I want to make it very quickly change. What was that? And then go negate it. So that maybe it will jump, so maybe it can be more visible so I can get a better look at it.
There is shielding between you and this creature, so you could throw a rock directly at it and you're not going to hit it. But you could still startle it somehow.
So then what I'll do is I'll just pick up a rock and then toss it onto the shielding. And then make sure that I'm still hidden so it doesn't like pick up on my presence.
I'll say deception check.
I've got really high deception. 26.
You throw the rock and remain hidden as the creature just snaps its head over, and like as it shifts, you see like this ripple of color, and you can see the creatures it's moving, and the camouflage is adjusting to compensate for the very quick movement.
Okay, so then now I'm going to cast command.
Okay.
A DC 16 wisdom save.
That's a 9. What do you command this creature to do?
Halt. It doesn't move and takes no actions. It's not like frozen, it literally just like sits down in neutral position.
As this creature sits down, Nora's like frantically waving to another one of the keepers and pointing towards it. And they sprint over, and it's like just this small injection. Doesn't look like it does much, but the creature's now like is shifted to its normal like different hues of blue and purple, and just puts a little loop around its neck and just like feeds it a little treat of some sort and starts to lead it back. I'm so glad you all came. Seriously, just with what little you've done, you get a free whatever you want from the gift shop. Free whatever you want.
Ooh.
You see Spectra's not with you anymore?
Eh.
Then you look over, she's in this area where where the other 2 phase beasts are. And she's like climbing around on top of the enclosures with her sniper rifle. You would assume loaded with some sort of like tranquilizing something or other.
Okay.
She is not going to kill, nor is just like, yeah, I think she's got the other 2. She usually carries some sort of knockout or tranquilizer. I'm sure she grabbed some of the lower dose ones. There were incidents while we were first getting all of this set up where we were having to adjust to what creatures needed to be kept safe and happy and also contained. Because sometimes we would get things like phase beasts, and we didn't really have the setup for them when we got them, but it was an emergency. So yeah, this is not her first time. As you hear a pop and a little plop noise.
Okay, so there are only 3 phase beasts to take care of?
Yep, there were 3 that got out, and now I believe there is just 1.
So I guess what do you need us to help wrangle next?
The next one could be a little feisty, but we do have 2 Bornak over here that got out. She directs you over to an area, and you're also passing by all sorts of very fascinating, interesting looking little creatures. Some that are small and fluffy, some that are small and scaly, or some that are like really big. You pass by an aquarium area that's got all sorts of... You haven't seen most of this stuff ever, Vi.
Yeah.
Stavios, you have seen some of this, but it's still cool.
See, if anyone looks, they'll probably see Vi, like, sort of glancing back at the phase beasts. She really liked the phase beasts.
She leads you over to a place that it does look like parts of it have been blocked off with some sort of shielding, but it doesn't feel like it's the same shielding as what they were using to contain the phase beasts. I'll say everyone roll a perception check to spot whatever is in here.
Please be nice. Only a 15.
Jesus Christ, another
Oh, wow.
natural 20.
Awesome.
9.
Well, if it makes you feel better, both of these creatures rolled a 1. They are not attempting to be sneaky.
Oh boy.
As you see, they're larger wolf-like creatures, jet black with glowing blue eyes, and it looks like they might actually have... Actually, no, I think they have blue eyes, and they've got like little red spots, like red dots on their head, covered in like, it looks like spiky quills. Walking around, you can see they've got pretty wicked looking claws, and it looks like they are looking for potentially hunting food. Yeah, Bornak are a little touchier. Thankfully, it does look like they're hungry, so they will hopefully eventually return back to their enclosures. We just need to get them to stay in there long enough to get the door closed.
I may be able to try something, but I have to get really close to them.
We don't recommend that.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
Yeah, between the claws and they have a pretty wicked bite.
Okay.
I could try distracting them. Illusory Point is a prime talent, so I don't need spell slots or anything. So I can maybe cast Illusory Point and keep them away from you to give you enough of a chance to get close enough to them.
Okay, actually, you gave me another idea. If we can just get them in there, if you guys need something triggered, I can just trigger a device, and that's a much longer range than my original idea.
Oh, you can do that too?
Yeah.
Don't meet a lot of people who are able to do that. Spectra is one of the few that I've met.
Yeah, it's been a recent thing, but yeah.
Believe she picked it up from a friend of hers. Maybe if you would like to give it a shot, I can get some additional security over here just in case you need backup.
Okay. Yeah.
Most of our security, they're more focused on the medical side of training, but they can help in a pinch.
Okay.
And Anima, what have you been up to while this is going on?
I do not have any magical bullshit to help with peacefully and without harming the animals to get them back into their enclosures.
So you're just watching?
Yeah.
Basically.
Giving moral support.
Yeah.
Just watching. Just along for the ride. Maybe enjoying how relatively chill this is.
If they need me to hold a riot shield, I can, but I don't know.
You could bodily carry a small creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not fast enough to catch one, so...
Fair.
Yeah.
Follow along. Enjoy how chill and relatively low stakes this is.
Yeah. Like, we don't have to worry about Stavios getting roped into a crime or Vi killing someone. Life is good.
This is so nice and not complicated.
Yeah.
As you see, you look up and there's just like a single one of the flamingos left, and it's standing like squarely in the center and will not be bribed to walk down the wall. So there's just a couple people standing underneath it, just staring up at it, like, what are we gonna do? Yeah,
I'm kind of ignoring them, and I'm gonna go to the people standing at the creature.
yeah, just kind of staring up at it, like, I mean, I don't know if they can adjust their orientation that fast if we're able to, like, pull it down.
You have a ladder?
Yeah, we do have ladders. We've got someone going to get it out of the maintenance bay. It might also be possible to, like, get it with mag boots, so it's a little... They adjust to gravity changes better than we do, specifically in that they can reorientate their gravity in ways that is physically impossible for us, and I still don't understand how they do it. Just staring up at this creature, which has currently, like, settled down for a nap.
Okay, then why don't you bring it down upside down?
Yeah, we have been thinking about doing that. I'm still waiting for the ladder. Also, they're kind of wiggly, and they're heavier than they look.
That would explain gravity changes.
Person finally looks over at you. You might be able to handle it.
Maybe?
Leroy up there is just being particularly stubborn. Glares up at it. It has currently, like, settled down to take a little nap with a head tucked under its wing. He likes to pretend that he is above everything, but we all know what snacks he can and will do anything for. We just haven't been able to convince him that, yes, we have those snacks, because they don't get an awful lot of smell until you're up close. But if we give you some and you get up there, you might be able to tempt him.
Sure.
As I say this, you see, like, 3 people running up carrying this big-ass ladder. Hey, we got the ladder. Who's going up?
Hello.
Oh, hi. Cool. Excellent. As they start setting up the ladder, instead of having a stand or something it leans against, there's, like, this electromagnetic field underneath it that helps it remain balanced. As they set it up and extend it to where it looks like you'll probably have to reach up to grab this stubborn little bird, but you're decently confident you can get it.
Yeah.
And one of the keepers hands you a net and some of his favorite snacks, which are just dried fruits.
Up the ladder I go.
Wrap the net around him. If he starts to get particularly squirmy, he likes to flap a lot, even though they can't fly, and they know they can't fly. The wings are more for, like, distraction and defense.
Can't fly, likes to flap.
Yeah. He's particularly a dumb one, but he's real sweet. So you start up the ladder with net draped over her shoulder, I'm guessing, and, like, the dried fruit stuck in your pocket.
Yeah.
It's a pretty long way up, but you do get a really cool view of the rest of this zoo. You can see where they're slowly getting the rest of the creatures wrangled as the Argyle are slowly pushed back into their enclosure. The door is shut behind them. You can see a bunch of people over in one corner near some vents that are putting all kinds of fun smelly treats at the exit of the vent and then walking away, and it seems like they're trying to lure something out. And occasionally you can see, like, this little paw, like, dart out and grab something, but they aren't able to get whatever it is they're trying to lure out. You can kind of assume probably the bear.
Yeah.
The vent bear.
Just the baby vent bear. How are you approaching this sleeping blue flamingo?
Once I get closer to the top of the ladder, I'm taking out a piece of fruit. Hey, buddy. You want a snack?
Roll me a persuasion check.
Against the bird.
Yes.
14.
You quickly can tell that he's just been pretending to sleep as you see, like, the eyes that are, like, bright pink poking out from under the wing, just staring at the fruit in your hand. It's not moving, but you have his attention.
Come on, buddy. You gotta come down to get the snack.
Wow. Just makes a noise, shuffles, still isn't moving. Would you like to roll insight?
Her.
Insight check the ceiling bird.
6 on the ceiling bird.
Maybe the keepers were wrong. Maybe this isn't his favorite snack, or maybe he's pickier than they thought. You could try a different piece of fruit.
So I put this on one of the steps of the ladder, and I pick out another piece of fruit. You know, these snacks are really tasty. Sure would be a shame if I had to go all the way back down and you didn't get any.
This time roll persuasion with advantage.
Natural 20.
Yay!
Nice. As you were exchanging the piece of fruit, you noticed, like, the eyes were intently watching the fruit, and now the eyes start, like, darting between the piece in your hand and the piece on the ladder. Stands up, extends out the neck, grabs the piece of fruit in your hand, and, like, swings one of its legs down, grabs onto the rung of the ladder, and starts to peck at the piece that you set down. Give me an athletics check as you attempt to grab the bird, whose butt is now in your face. Well, no, I'll say he's facing you.
Dirty 20.
You are able to grab the bird. Are you just bear hugging, or how are you wrangling the bird?
Is the net like a... If I'm swinging it over my shoulder, I'm guessing it's like a fishing net sort of situation and not like a cartoon dog catcher net?
Yeah.
Or a butterfly net?
Yes.
So I'm taking the net and I'm wrapping it around his wings. So he can't flap at me.
Toss him over your shoulder and head back down.
Yeah. I pick him up and I'm gonna head back down one-armed.
Give me a strength check as you were heading down one arm, and he isn't able to flap, but he is wiggling, and he's like manages to get his face in your pocket that has the rest of the fruit.
That's fine.
This might be when you realize that the key to the bribing the ceiling bird was he just wanted more treats. Ooh, with a 10. Ooh.
Yeah. That was a bad roll.
You have a bit of a difficult time, and you're about halfway down. Your arms are burning, and you're starting to lose your grip on this wiggly ceiling bird. So we pan back as you're starting to lose your grip. Go back in time a little bit to Stavios and Vi trying to get the Bornak to go back inside.
I think what I'm going to do is do a series of casting of Illusory Point. Just kind of get it low where I want it to go. So it's like anytime it gets close, it's going to disappear, and then I'm going to do an Illusory Point right there. And they need to make DC 16 intelligence saving throw.
Hey, good news. They're kind of dumb.
Oh, good.
So that was a 4.
Great. Are they a predator or
actually
like
think.
or are they like, what do they look like? Just want to know what I'm casting.
Correction, that's a 10 because they have advantage on perception checks that rely on sight or smell, but it looks so convincing that the fact that there isn't much of a smell, they think there's a smell.
Alright.
That goes with the food. They do feel rather predatory with how they are stalking the bits of food, because like also you can see some of the food that the keepers have like left in their enclosure that they've been pecking at, so you just recreate that but make it look better.
Okay.
It's like it's fresh, it's delicious looking, and I'm doing it in like flashes until they're like deep enough in their enclosure that they can.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna do odds or evens to see if you get both of them or just one. So odds or evens.
Evens.
Google Dice Roller likes you. Both of them are attempting to stalk this food that keeps disappearing, and you can tell they're kind of getting frustrated. Like every once in a while, one of them will attempt to pounce on it, but you make it disappear before it can get in, just clawing at the ground. Sometimes like snap at each other, like you got in my way. But you do manage to lure them into the enclosure because they are hungry and they are kind of dumb.
Then I'm going to use a trigger device to shut the gate once they're in there.
Is there a roll for that, or?
No, I just have to be within 60 feet. It's prime talent, so.
Okay.
Yeah, trigger device. It's concentration, but yeah, nope.
You get the gate to shut behind them, and they whirl around the second that they hear it close, and they realize that the tantalizing new bits of food weren't real, and they just run after and start clawing at the gate as the keeper comes behind to lock it for real, so you can not have to concentrate on it forever.
She's like, I think you should feed them.
And then after a couple of minutes of them being very frustrated at the door, they just kind of slink over and eat the food that's been sitting out for maybe an hour.
Children.
Nora's just like, yeah, I'm going to make a note that maybe they need a little bit more entertainment space and more time on the lower levels, because there are a couple lower levels of the station that are set aside specifically for big roaming areas, so we can rotate some of the creatures in and out so they can let those instincts out, usually in the evenings or when we're having our low cycle specifically. We adjust our low cycles to fit their preferred like hunting patterns and so forth, because the key is making sure that they're happy. Making money is secondary. I don't think we're gonna do lemurs again though, because I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I would suggest not to do the lemurs, if I'm being honest. If they can steal a ship, then maybe they shouldn't even be in captivity.
I mean, to be fair, most of them we had rescued from people who had adopted them as pets.
No, I mean, we should get those lemurs in schools, teaching them how they're capable of math, science, starship flight. What are we doing?
You have a good point. We don't currently know where they are. Somehow, I think it was Quasar, because I saw in the security footage it looked like Bosco was the one flying, but Bosco's also dumber than Leroy up there. Doesn't look up, just points up to where Leroy had been napping on the ceiling. I'm pretty sure Quasar was the one that figured it out. I've always wondered about that lemur. You look up around the time you see Anima halfway down the ladder with a very wiggly blue flamingo tossed over her shoulder. And Vi, you don't even have to roll. Looks like she's starting to lose her grip a little bit as this flamingo creature has its entire head stuck in her pocket.
Oh no, oh no, oh no. Sabias? Do you have anything that can, not harm a creature, but just make it go to sleep?
Let me look.
Because I have to be close to do it, to try to charm them, but can't really capture.
I mean, I can cast command again, make it halt, but it only lasts a minute.
Okay. Well, that'll do something, so go for it. And what's the saving throw for that one?
That is DC 16 Wisdom.
Oh no. I got a 16.
Okay.
That's using the -3 intelligence. So you call up halt, and it just keeps wiggling.
Okay, question. If I was to make it have disadvantage on strength checks, would that help?
Yes, I will let that translate to Anima getting advantage on her next strength check to not fall off the ladder.
Then I will cast Symbionic Mark on that blue flamingo and make it have disadvantage on strength checks.
What does this look like?
Vi starts sort of glowing blue and black, and actually I think she was so taken with the face beast, I think the code sort of shapes into what looks like one, and it bounds somehow up and goes into the flamingo. And so the flamingo is weaker. And also probably very confused.
Very confused. So, Anima, you feel as you are trying to figure out how to not fall that Yes, Leroy is still wiggling. Leroy is not thrashing around nearly as much. Give me a strength saving throw with advantage.
Oh, God. That's much harder.
15.
It's not easy, but you are able to get the rest of the way down the ladder, and once you get to a certain point, you feel like the hands of, like, other people reaching up to, like, help take the wiggly boy off of your shoulders. And you get to safely feet on solid ground, and your arms hurt. No damage, just hurt. And as this happens, Spectra comes over. She's just, like, folding her sniper rifle back up into, like, this little box that's about the size of a buck. Tucks it back in her pocket. Collapsing frames. They're great.
They are.
I scratch the bird on his head. I say, see, now you get snackies. Don't be stubborn.
He headbutts your hand like a cat.
Mhm.
And then goes to, like, nibble around your shoulder, like if you, like a dog might do if you have spilled, like, crumbs on your shirt. And then his keepers just carry him away. He just keeps reaching his neck out towards you because you have pocket snackies.
You ate all the pocket snackies. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, you stick your hand in your pocket, and not only did he eat all of your pocket snackies, there's now a hole in your pocket where he picked a thing.
So he thought if
Not
he tried hard enough, more would manifest.
Yeah.
Alright.
Wow, they weren't kidding when that bird was kind of dumb. Poor guy.
He's an absolute sweetie. He's so dumb.
Damn.
We got a few dumb ones in this zoo. Unfortunately, one less since Bosco made it out. Points to one. You see the lemurs, which they do look adorable. And there's one particularly tiny one, and there's one who you just look at it, and you don't even need to roll. That lemur has himbo energy. It just has a little plaque underneath that says the name is Bosco. And then there's looks like it's both clever and dumb at the same time. Just this cute little guy. And then you see, when you look at Quasar, which is supposedly the one who figured out how to pilot the ship, you specifically noticed that lemur does look smart. You're not sure how, but that lemur's smart.
Okay.
And Nora just looks at the checklist and is like, okay. Oh, wow. Thank you all so much. That looks like we have everything except the bear, which they are attempting. It's starting to come out of the vent. It can't get into any harm in there, and I think it looks like there's some unofficial bets going on who can lure it out, so I'll just leave them to that.
Alright.
You are welcome if you would like me to give you a tour of the rest of our facilities. Depending on how long you're staying, we might be opening up some of the other areas soon. Yeah, look, since we've got everything else contained, just need to give some of the creatures time to calm down and settle back in. Some of them are going to be going back for medical checks just in case. Seriously, you've helped out so much that could have taken a while. Still have a couple of people that are going to be given some mandatory vacation time. Glances at one of the people walking by with really irritated looking eyes. Yeah, because it was a bit harrowing for a couple of people. We're making sure they get taken care of too.
Okay, question. Is that person would they have considered the poison condition, or was that toxin airborne?
I feel like you would recognize that it looks like someone just got something in their eyes that shouldn't be in their eyes. It's not going to be life-threatening.
Okay.
It's just very uncomfortable for a while. And you can see signs that they have been treated for it. It's just going to take time for it to heal.
Okay. Because I have clean zone, but that's airborne stuff. So. Okay.
Yeah. That might have been helpful in the moment. This happened a day or two ago.
I mean, I can't say if I wouldn't have necessarily set up the lemurs, so.
Probably. So if you were given the rest of the time to explore around the zoo and look at the different creatures, some of them are brought out so you can like pet them and interact with them. And all that, you all decide which creature that you come across is your character's favorite. What are some of the ones that you come across that you particularly enjoy?
A wood duck. My favorite in real life, it's my favorite kind of duck because they're gorgeous looking, and I think Stavias would really appreciate their ostentatious vibes.
Yeah, there's one point where it takes everyone a while to realize that you've temporarily lost Stavias. They're only like a couple feet back, just staring as Stavias, you're walking by, as this cute little, like, very pretty little wood duck just wakes up from its nap and is like fluffing out its feathers and waddling around all cute. And then you see a couple of others, looks like they were all taking naps and they're waking up, and now it's playtime and snack time, and it's just the most amazing thing you've seen ever.
Male wood ducks are considered one of the most colorful of the North American waterfowl. That's just me, Shan, imparting that little tidbit of information to everybody.
Those are very pretty.
Yeah. After you've been staring at it for a few minutes, like, you're just watching them. Just absolutely fascinated by these wonderful little creatures. You look over, you see a keeper post, is like, excuse me, would you like to pet one? And it's just holding another wood duck in her arms.
I take the wood duck out of her arms and I just start petting it very gently. I just kind of sit with it and I get lost in my own thoughts. It's the first like moment of true like peace that I've had in weeks.
Yeah, there is a brief moment where the keeper's confused, but Spectre's just like, don't worry about it. So you just sit down on a bench petting one wood duck. There are other ducks and other creatures in there. You just sit and pet it, and the keeper just sits on the other end of the bench, letting you do your thing.
So if I would like to sleight of hand like a picture of that.
I don't think you need to try that hard to be sneaky, but I mean, up to Shan.
Stavias is not paying any attention. Stavias is in full duck mode.
Okay.
The keeper just lets you pet the duck, pretty much like, so long as the duck is happy, they're fine with it. And the duck is very happy. It tries to, like, nibble on your clothing. It doesn't do anything at all, but it's still adorable. And a small part of your long-term, not counted towards your HP psychic damage starts to heal. This doesn't fix all of your trauma, but it is really nice. And now you have just this pure, joyful memory. And I think at some point, like, the keeper just starts talking to you about the ducks. Just random facts about them and just, like, other creatures, and, like, points out as they wake up. So Stavias is going home with a new love for ducks and a lot of duck-related knowledge.
I also take all of the wood duck figurines and wood duck merchandise from the gift shop.
You get one item free, but you can buy some of the rest. Unless you're stealing from them.
They're going through enough. I take their most expensive and intricate wood duck figurine. It's like life size, and it's going to be propped up on like a bedside table.
Amazing. Adorable. And what about for Anima? What's your favorite? What are some of the creatures you enjoy?
Personally, I like watching otters. Myself.
Oh, yeah.
I love watching otters.
I think what Anima gets most distracted by is you're walking by, there's this one place, like, part of it is, like, fun, like, grassland area with lots of, like, rocks and trees, and the other part is beach dropping off into water, and as you're walking by, you don't spot them at first because their coloring sort of matches in with the coloring of the water, but there's something about the emotion, and there are like 4 or 5 Yodnine in here. The pretty blue foxes that are just the little happiest little cuddle pile creatures, like super social, partially aquatic. as they're just like playing around in the water, and then they get out. Like, you just watch that for a while, and sometimes you'll see like a couple get out and like play chase in the grass, and they're just, it's so cute and so joyful, and they just have just like the happiest little faces. And you also get a chance to pet one if you want.
Do I want a pet? Little fox guy. Yes.
You get taken into a little side area. Their plan was to just let one in, but it ends up with you are like in a cuddle pile with the Viad9. They accept you immediately as one of their own. And they're so soft and so friendly. And you just get to spend time playing with them. And it gives you a chance to kind of forget about the black box in your head. You don't have to think about that. You just got the cute little guys.
I'm not gonna think about that. Why did I think about that? Last time I thought about that, it hurt.
Everyone is getting a little bit of a chance to get out of their heads for a little bit by being drowned in cuteness.
Yay.
And what about for Vi?
Ooh. I think Vi was really taken by the phase beasts. So yeah, I think she goes back to like their enclosure and just watches them. I don't know if they have like, would they be pups? I don't know. Have little ones or not, but
I'll say there are a couple of little ones in there that don't seem to quite have the teleporting thing figured out. They're working on it. They're practicing. But it doesn't always quite work. Like, sometimes they'll, like, disappear and then reappear, but be, like, on their back, or they'll, like, trip, or they'll teleport in the middle of running and then run into one of the others. After a point, someone comes to sit down next to you and just says, "They're amazing, aren't they?"
yeah, they are.
Out of the corner of your eye, it's one of the keepers. You spot the uniform, but you don't spot the movement until you feel something like nuzzling up against your hand. And there's a little phase beast on a little leash.
Can I... Is it alright if I pet them?
Oh, of course, of course. They're not working right now, so
Okay.
go, absolutely.
Thank you so much. They're wonderful. I sort of helped put, well, my colleague did most of the work, but we helped put one of them back. They're just so amazing.
Archie here has been domesticated somewhat. He helps me out a bit. I've raised him since he was real little.
Aw.
I work in engineering in tight spaces, and sometimes it can get a little dangerous, and he can help get me out. He's also good for going back to get things that I forgot in places.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, he sounds like a very devoted little guy.
Yeah, and he's just absolute attention hog as he has, like, his head resting in your lap, just staring up at you.
Yeah, Vi, I think can hardly take my eyes off of him. It's just, wow.
He likes you. He doesn't usually take to people quite as quickly, but he's a good judge of character.
Oh, thank you, Archie.
Just gives your hand another little nuzzle. And you just have a delightful time at the zoo. And I know Stavios gets some wood duck stuff. Does anyone else know what their character got from the gift shop?
Something with phase beasts for Vi's, I think, free item. I'm not sure exactly what, but I do think Vi sort of makes sure that everyone else is gone and then buys a nice wood duck
Face
plushie.
piece plushie?
Oh, that as well, yes. But I think Vi feels bad about Stavios's abduction still and knows that this is partially to help them and actually, yeah, no, Vi will buy whatever Anima gets. She'll also buy a plushie of that, so they all have plushies.
Oh, I love that. And what Anima, what do you go for in the gift shop?
Gosh, what do I go for in the gift shop?
Maybe you get like a blanket that's just looks like a Viad9 cuddle pile.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you get back to the ship, but I will say, when you all go into your quarters, you see that it appears Spectra also bought you some stuff and your favorite creatures, including you all three get a little, basically like a holographic projection that looks like and somewhat acts like the creature that you most fell in love with. And it just hangs out around your room. Although Casey, there's 3 of them.
Oh.
Because they're far too social. People tried to make a projection of just one, but it just felt too sad, so they had to, it's 3. 3's a good number. And you all leave feeling just a little bit better. There is some good stuff out there. You got a chance to relax and take a bit of a brain break before you get into your next adventure. We'll see what that is next time. Aboard the Opal Star is an Espergenesis 5e actual play podcast DM'd and produced by Brianna Toiver as part of Pseudonym Social, creative podcast network.
I'm Casey, and I'm playing Anima the Ashen Forged.
My name's Alexis, and I am playing Vilena Sorrell, the Eldori.
Music is by Patrick Chester of Chester Studios. To see more of his work, visit his website at chesterstudios.net. Find out more about Pseudonym Social by visiting our website at pseudonymsocial.wordpress.com. If you like what we're doing and would like to support us, please consider leaving a review or donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/pseudonymsocial.